Redline Logbook here for Degrim Man's Destruction of the Black Order Attempt arc. Now, this is actually a very short comedy arc that takes place solely in the Black Order. It's only 2 chapters long, and it's basically just Kamui just being an idiot. The arc starts off inside the Science Division of the Black Order. We're seeing through the vision of the giant robot that Kamui just made. It's listening to the Science Division's conversation, and apparently the robot's name is Kamuin. And then we skip over to Alan arriving. Alan and Tama finally got back from their mission with the doll. Tama tells Alan to take care of the innocents, take it to the Science Division, and he'll take care of the boat for now. Alan goes, alright. He starts to go in. That's when Lena Lee's unconscious body just falls in front of him. River then also appears, beaten up, barely holding himself up, and Alan just starts to freak out, saying, what's going on? And before he can get a proper answer, Kamarin, the giant robot, just smashes through the wall. By the way, they're underground, which means it's smashing through what could be support beams of the Black Order, which is a giant tower. The giant robot locks in on both Alan and Lena Lee because they're extras, and it's currently trying to get its hands on Exorcist. Alan would like to know why and what this thing is, but at the moment they need to run away. So while running away, they finally get a explanation of what happened, and it is really stupid. So, Kamui created Kamarin for the purposes of helping out the Science Division. This robot has all of Kamuri's brain scans inside of it. It's basically a second him, and its sole purpose in life is to do 2 major things. 1, all of the Science Division's paperwork because they're overworked and underpaid. In fact, they even complain about it in the flashback. And 2, it does surgeries on exorcists to help them with their innocence. So the entire Science Division's all happy and celebrating, and they're thanking their boss for creating such a robot that can help them out with all of their overwork. But of course, it's a robot made by Kamui, which means it's a stupid robot. And so, it decides to take a drink of coffee. It's a robot. It can't drink coffee. So when it does this, it short circuits and loses fucking control. The first thing it does is inject Lena Lee with anesthetic so it can do surgery on her, because its plan is to make her more macho, because its job is to make extras stronger. So the stupid robot equates big muscles with being stronger, I guess. Alright, both Tama and Alan can't get their heads around how stupid of a situation they're in right now. That entire backstory was retarded. So while they're hiding, River says something to Alan that seems to be very important to him. He welcomes Alan back home. And once again, Alan has been an orphan his entire life. The only person who ever treated him with any love was his adopted father, Mana. Being welcomed home is a big deal for him because he hasn't had that since his dad died. This moment of happiness actually makes Alan forget about the situation for a moment, which then allows Kamarin to attack them. They run all the way to the floating escalator, which all of the Science Division is currently hiding on. And apparently, the Science Division decked out the floating elevator with a giant fucking cannon. Yeah, these dudes are overworked because they seem to have a lot of side projects they like to mess with. Because let's be honest, there's no need for an elevator to have a giant cannon, and there's no need for a stupid robot that drinks coffee. So I feel like the overtime might be a little bit their own fault. Just saying. So the Science Division then tries to blow away the giant robot, but Kamui, being the idiot that he is, stops them and protecting his robot. And the Science Division, for some reason, is just holding down the firing button, and he literally shoots everything except for the robot. Don't get me wrong, it's 100% Kamui's fault for stopping him from destroying the robot, but still, let go of the firing button. Kamui is, of course, hogtied by his entire team, and he comes up with a way to stall the robot while he can think of a plan. And what is his plan to stall? He basically sells out Alan. He tells the robot that Alan's arm is hurt, and he has to fix the innocence. And so the robot prioritizes fixing innocence. Alan is then captured by the robot and struggles with all his might, but that thing is really dragging him in to its surgery room, which is literally inside of it, with a bunch of fake Kamui robots with a bunch of stuff like saws and such. So it's gotta be the worst surgery room on the planet. And Alan then takes out his innocence, turns into his gun form, is about to blast the robot away. But once again, Kamui gets in the way, shoots Alan with a dart from a blowgun. I'm not making this up. The drug weakens Alan so much he can't use his innocence, and he can barely even lift his arm or head. And the only thing he can say at this point is for Reiner to run away with Lena Lee. Reiner grabs onto Alan's coat, tries to pull him out of the surgery thing, but you can hear all the gears and everything happening, so those Kamui robots are currently fucking up Alan as we speak. And now that Alan has been captured, the next priority, of course, would be turning Lena Lee macho. The real Kamui starts to freak the fuck out, but once again, he's an idiot and doesn't want the robot to be destroyed, so they're kind of out of options. As the robot goes for Lena Lee, the drug, for the most part, wears off on her, and she's able to regain consciousness. She's still in a lucid state, but she's still able to dodge the robot. She then says she heard Alan's voice. Once again, she's in a lucid state, and she's asking if he's back, And Reiner's like, yeah, he is. He's in here, in the giant robot. And so Lena Lee decides to take on the giant robot to free Alan. And for the first time, we get to see her innocence activate. And these black spirals cover her entire legs until she's just wearing these black boots. And the robot, using its arms and lasers and everything else it has to offer, tries to capture or attack Lena Lee, but she's constantly dodging and moving out of the way. And Reiner basically explains the reason why this robot will never be able to catch her is because once her innocence is activated, Lena Lee is uncatchable. She has the grace and speed of a butterfly, but she comes down like a piece of lead or iron. That is the specific power of her anti-Akuma weapon, known as the Dark Boots. And in one quick move, she comes down like a meteor, smashing most of the body of the robot to pieces. River is able to drag Alan's nearly unconscious body out of the robot. And then right then and there, Kamui appears in front of the robot, begging Lena Lee to spare it, saying that he's not evil, the coffee's evil. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the coffee. You shouldn't blame him and destroy him because of the coffee. It's all the coffee's fault. Obviously, everyone thinks this is a retarded argument to make. This is clearly all the robot's fault, and of course his. And so Lena Lee's response is just to kick both of them down the shaft. After this, Lena Lee nurses Alan until he wakes back up. When he does, she and the rest of the Black Order can then properly welcome him back. And once again, this is a big thing for Alan, to be welcomed back by a bunch of people, because he just didn't have that before. After this, Alan and Kamui then take the innocence that Alan got from the doll to Hibara, and she shows how she stores them. She does it inside of her own body. There's this weird symbol that appears on the ground that's actually her body. It's apparently fused with the ground, and what happens is she basically absorbs the innocence, it goes down into her body, and then it takes a spot on this symbol that's on the ground. There's a total of 109 slot for the 109 innocents that exist in the world, and currently the Black Order has 41 of them, excluding their members who are actually already exorcists. Basically, Hibara holds on to the piece of innocence until someone who is compatible can be found. That is brought to the Black Order, and then they receive their innocence. The people whose job it is to find people that are compatible with innocence are the 5 generals, including General Cross, Alan's master. That's why his job is to wander around the world. His job is to, of course, collect people to become exorcists. We then skip over to an entirely different world, a dining table, where there is a gray-skinned man eating a deviled egg, complaining that it's not sweet. And out of a fit of rage, because he can't eat sweet food, he starts to beat the shit out of a woman who turns out to be an Akuma, and he basically just beats this Akuma to death. Of course, there are other gray-skinned people at the table, all complaining and telling him to shut up because they're ruining their appetite, and he should just eat any food. It doesn't have to be something sweet. That gray-skinned little girl then talks to the Millennium Earl, saying that this is dinner time with the family, and they should be enjoying themselves. And the Earl's like, I agree. Spending time with the family is great. Also, we could be starting, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Basically, the Millennium Earl is telling his family, I put that in quotation marks, that they're getting ready for war with the Exorcists, war with the Vatican. But they haven't gone there yet, so he's just having his fun. And that is the end of the arc. Told you it was a very short one. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, give a thumbs up so you can enjoy more D-Gram Man and other anime things. Thank you and have a great day.